Hi there. So let's look at objects and classes, and let's start by defining a class. And it's going to be a very simple class. It doesn't actually do anything for us. So we use the class keyword, and now we have a class defined. Now a class is an object. It's a type, and it is an object. In fact, we can look at the type of the person class or the person object, and it is of type. And this is kind of odd because type is itself of type, and we'll come back to this later. But for now, basically any class we create, the class itself is going to be of class type, right? Or of type. Class and type means kind of the same thing. Now, we've got this class, it's an empty class, but Python puts in some things for us. So even though this is a class, this is an object, and it already has properties and attributes. For example, it has a name attribute. So we can look at the name attribute of this person class, and we can see the name is this string person. Now, that's a attribute, that's a data attribute that's been given to this class by Python. Now, Python also provides behaviors. For example, the class is callable, and in fact, when we call the class, Python is going to create an instance of that class. And so now if we look at P and we look at the type of P, we're going to see that it is of type person. Now, person is in the main module. We're in this main module right here. Hence why we have the main in front. Now, all the objects have built-in properties as well that Python basically provides for us. For example, the P object, right, which was an instance of this person class, has an attribute called class, and we can see that it tells us that it is main.person. So in fact, doing type P and P.class kind of gives us the same thing. So we could even do this. We could say P is class, and of course that is going to be true. Now in general, we don't use the class this way. We always just use type P. And another thing we can do, another function we can use that's even more common to use is isInstance. And you'll see why when we get to inheritance, why isInstance is often more useful than just the type. So the object P is an instance of the person class. That's why this isInstance function returns true. For example, if we were to do isInstance P of a string, well, that's false, right? But if we do isInstance and we do a string literal, let's say hello, of type string, then that returns true. So string, str, is a built-in type. It's a built-in class in Python. Person is a class, it's a type that we defined. But if we look at the type of string, you'll see that it is also of type. So classes and types are of type, which is kind of this meta class that we have. And I'm not going to discuss metaprogramming now. That's getting too complicated. So we can also look at the help on type, and you'll see that some of the things we have in there, for example, is this call, and I'll get to that later on. But it's basically an object. So type is also a class, it's also an object. And I will come back to this call method later on in this course. Okay, so this is the basics for a class. We just use the class keyword, and as you can see, classes that we define are of type, and the class basically is a new type that we are defining in our code. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.